You know, sometimes there's just too much pressure. Not that starting a third season of Lush Life is so difficult, but I had decided to start this season with the spoken intro, like I'm doing now. And then it all changed. I went back to the way I was doing it before with the little canned intro I had slightly updated. Why didn't I do it the new way? This week, the subject of our episode is how to start all over again with a vengeance. I'm Susan Schwartz, your drinking companion, and this is Lush Life Podcast. Every week, we are inspired to live life one cocktail at a time by the best in the industry. But this episode is not about me and how I started season 3 with the wrong intro. It's about Mia Johansson and how she began what would become one of the best bars in the world, Swift Bar in London, Soho. If you're coming to this episode new, FYI, it's a two-parter, so turn around and go back to part 1. A small recap. Mia has been through the ringer, and now after a successful pop-up at Calais, she receives a phone call out of the blue. So tell me how Swift came about.
So it was quite a fun summer, actually. It was quite intense. It was the same summer that we were helping our best friend run his pub that he just refurbished, and we were still kind of had our fingers in the pot at Calais, and we were planning on getting married in August. So in July everything was kind of, we were doing things every day. We were either getting the wedding details finished, we were helping our best friend, we were at Calais, we were doing pop-ups, we were working the whole summer, we were trying to make ends meet everywhere. And then we get a phone call from what we then saw as kind of like the mum and dad of the industry, Ed and Rosie, who we've looked up to for years, but when they gave us a call, we thought we'd done something wrong. Because they had such two of the world's most successful bars. They had Oreo, which was just a year old then, and then they had Nightjar that was, I think, probably 6 then. And then they go, why are they calling us? Because we had such different styles of making drinks. We'd met previously, but we'd only like acquaintances. And
so it isn't as if you had known them
it wasn't like they were just
years.
No, it wasn't like they were inviting us. They were like, do you guys want to grab a coffee? And we were like, it wasn't like, let's go hang out and go on a double date. We weren't that friendly. So we were just, okay, maybe we've done something wrong. What are we up to? So when we met with them for coffee, and then they put the offer on the table, they were just saying that Rosie had found a quite inspiring idea. They've been to Barcelona, and then they had kind of seen that the drinking scene of Europe are kind of like standing and perching and like having a quick drink, and that the idea at Smith of having like a buzzing bar where people can just come in, perch, and then kind of pop off. We don't really have it here. We had like reservations, and you come in and you get booking, and it's quite evening. It's late night, Friday night drinking kind of cocktail scene, and we didn't have the daytime refreshing thing. So she had this epiphany of this like simple like drinking thing, and because they kind of realized that that's not really what Nightjar and Oreo do.
Right, that's what I was going to say, especially because Nightjar and Oreo are definitely about the reservations and the dark
and like the whole experience, and the table, the drink and everything is kind of like it's the whole experience. So they thought of me and Bobby, and they kind of thought that we've dabbled with trying to open up our own bar, and really wanted to open up a bar, and they kind of knew that from our way of, especially with the milk and honey scene, of kind of simplicity, very simple drinks in a fresh way and quite fast, because Bobby had being rematch champion at that time and everything was quite good. They like knew that like the speedy way of doing things was kind of how we did it. So they called us, and when we had the offer, I didn't know if they were lying to us.
Wait, so they called you? No, we want it long, so they called you.
You went out. We went for coffee, and
then they said, "We have this idea.
We have this idea."
And did you go, "Oh my God, I didn't do something wrong"?
I was more or less. I was at that time. I was very protective of us. And going like, I want to make sure that when we sign the right deal, that it is the right deal, because we had been screwed over. So I was very, very. Bobby was super excited, and I was sitting there at the table being a little bit cautious.
Whoa, text.
Yeah, going like, what are we actually? So they said that they had been looking for the site for Lab, and that they wanted to make an offer on Lab, and that they wanted us to be partners and kind of be the managing partners to take over the site and kind of run the concept and the staffing and everything like that. So when we left, I just remember we were just like, oh, thank you very much, let's have a think, we'll call you guys back tomorrow, and like let us just like sleep on it. And I remember when we walked outside the street, I think I kicked Bobby or something, because they both like we walked, so we didn't want to look around to see if they looked at us.
Right.
It was really weird, but I remember we turned around the corner, I think I gave Bobby like a kick on the leg or something, or like, what just happened, especially that it was Lab as well with Ed and Rosie. It was kind of like,
Had Lab closed by then?
no. It was a bit weird, because we had the landlord that we had here was at that time the lady who the lease was being purchased from. She was a little bit eccentric, and she had, which too many people do, she had bought Lab, an iconic, one of the best bars in the world, for many years, because she liked cocktails. Not that she had any experience in hospitality or anything as a restaurateur. She bought it because she had money and she wanted a bar, but she didn't know how to run staff. So bless the guys who were working at Lab at that time. They were underpaid, and they were not getting money so they could do stuff. So she was being quite mean, and she was telling us that we couldn't really explain to the staff that were here until our time of the lease kind of had officiated.
Okay.
Then, so she didn't really tell them in advance so that they would have time to find jobs. So they found out by it coming to press. So the Lab guys found out because Imbibe was the first one to kind of do a piece on us. And when it was announced that Bobby and Ed and Rosie had taken over Lab, which was quite a big deal,
that's when they found out.
That's when they found out, and we didn't know that she hadn't told them. So they were, of course, really upset with us. So we met and sat with them, and they were quite angry. And we said, because when she was telling us more or less, we will cancel the deal if you tell them.
Oh no.
So yeah, she was not a very nice woman, but yeah. She's out of the picture now. Hopefully she's not opening up in any other bars and doing anyone else disfavors.
That's so terrible.
We were very keen to make sure that the guys were looked after and everything like that. We couldn't hire anyone because it was going to be 4 months until we opened. So we couldn't really hire any staff and then have them pay them to not really do anything for 4 months. So but bless them. But they still, all of them come in today, every day. They're here. They're the nicest people in the world, and they're
it's such a small community.
I know.
Too,
No. We love them so much.
Yeah.
Like I think Shiv is probably here more than I am. They're the best guys. They're super sweet, and the best thing is because when we were making sure that they were always invited as soon as we open and everything, and down for family nights and everything. But the best thing about them is like when we did open and things were a bit. There's always, every single house has its crooks and its corners, and they knew them. So I would be coming in and I'd be like having a moment to myself of something, like the aircon wasn't working or something wasn't working, and they'd be like,
that's not a ghost.
Yeah. And they'd be like, I hear you. And I was like, oh, you know what I'm talking about. Thank you so much.
Or the toilet always sticks.
Yeah.
And
like the plumbing, and they're like, oh, the plumbing. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. They related so much. I liked them. I love them a lot. So that was the same month so me and Bobby actually, I think they closed in the beginning of August. I think the first couple of weeks of August, they kind of had their party at Lab, which they had kind of more like friends and family nights closed down. And when me and Bobby found that out, we were just about to get married in Scotland. And we went off for a week in Scotland, and we had a fantastic wedding. And we actually got married on the Saturday, the 27th, and Stu McCluskey got married on the Sunday. Who's a friend of ours who owns lots of places up in Edinburgh. And he was kind enough to, on the Sunday, we actually had a day after party at the Bon Vivant, which is one of his restaurants. So on the day he got married, we actually had an event, like a reception party in his Bon V. So we had a fantastic, I think we had like 60 bartenders or something at our wedding. It was quite bartender heavy, quite a lot of drinking. But it was a lot of fun because my family is Swedish and Bobby's family is Scottish Irish. So put them all three together, it's going to be a party. We flew back, we had Monday kind of to ourselves. And then on the Tuesday we flew back here, and when we opened the doors, this was the summer where we had the heat wave. So it was so hot, and bless the guys, they had their last night and then they kind of left it. So it's been like cooking in the heat for 3 weeks. So there were bin bags open, there were fruit in the sinks, everything was rotting, and it was flies everywhere, and it was beyond. And it was just me and Bobby. We literally opened the doors, super excited, came in tonight. The smell in our, yeah, oh my god, so much. And I think we just went, okay, cool, we need to do a closing party because lab needs, before we kind of like do the first sledgehammer against the wall, we need to make sure the lab has kind of had, everyone gets to come and say their goodbyes because it needed to be karma. So we went to work. We called all of our friends. We made a little menu, which was kind of the classic menu. We had anything like, we had the Solero, we had the tiramisu, the porn star martini. We had like the 6 main classics from lab that they were kind of famous for, and we made a menu, and we sent, a friend of ours made it up for us, a designer, and then we sent it off to print. And then we went calling. We called all of our mates that we knew had worked at lab, so that was about 30 of them, and we told them to call all the people that they had worked with that we didn't know. And I think within like a couple hours, there was 150 people in the same messenger group, and it was going mental. And we said, calm down, we're throwing a 3-day closing party. It's going to be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We called the council, and they extended the license till 4 in the morning.
Oh boy.
We called the old DJ. We called the old doorman. We said, guys, come on in, let's do one last lab weekend, and let's do it good. We will bar back the whole thing, or we will bartend the whole thing, but if you guys want to come and do like an hour or half an hour just to go behind the bar again and like just shake up some drinks, we will love it if you did. All the money we, of course, was going to go to charity, so it wasn't never like our profit. So we got, and then we called all of our friends that work in booze, just like fill up the gaff. So they were packaging of alcohol, just showing up at the door the next day. And me and Bobby were cleaning. I think we were cleaned up something about 50 or 60 bin bags of just, because we had to empty the bar. It was old bottles, everything in the fridges, old soda bottles, everything was just like everywhere. So we were just throwing every single thing out. And where we realized we didn't have a company name, Swift didn't have a company name then. So we didn't have a bin company. So we had 50, 60 bin bags, and like alcohol coming into the door. It was so full of like the whole, you couldn't move in here. It was so full. So we called like all of our friends that have sites in Soho, going like, can we drop 2 bin bags with you? Can we drop 2 bin bags? Take a bin bag, please. Yeah, so we were walking around Soho with bin bags and just trying to get everything out, cleaning everything, and then filling up all the bottles that we had on the back bar and setting everything up. And it was quite funny because at the same time we were holding interviews. So Zoe Van der Grinten had her interview in all of this hot mess inside of here. The smell was awful. She was amazing. She ended up working with us for the first few months before she got fantastic. She always wanted to be a chef, so she went back into food for a bit. And then we had Max had done his interview. So Max came and worked with us. Nathan was always with us from Kalukale, so he was already he was part of the process of the opening and everything. So they were already with us, as well as Ivan, who's with us here as well. So they helped us for the whole weekend. So they were the bar backs. So we paid them cash in hand from our wedding fund. We were paying in, so we were buying ice, we were getting all the fruit in. They were here every single day with us. So when we threw the party, it was huge. It was full from the moment we did it. Everyone was in. It was everyone who from every single era of lab was in, from 17 years ago, from Will and the guys who were here like when it opened. Like it was mental.
It was one that they talk about still.
Yes, by far. And then but in the mornings everyone went home at 4, 5 in the morning. We didn't have a cleaning crew, so me and Bobby had to stay and clean. So we could scrub the whole
So literally you did not sleep for 3 days.
We didn't sleep for a week. We got married and then we went back in the bar. straight into it.
But you know what? It's probably good training. You know what your marriage is going to be like. If you get 100%. Married and then you have to clean a whole bar, have more people, and then wake up, and then the journey begins. But then the journey begins.
Yeah.
And so
I remember so well on the last day. I remember because Bobby ordered takeaway, and I couldn't even stand up to get to the door because I had a 40-degree fever at the end of it, so I was just like shaking. But it was good because when we actually got going, it felt like we had a good send up with a good karma from Lab, and everyone was really supportive, and they were really happy that it wasn't being turned into a Starbucks,
right, of course.
And that somebody was carrying on the legacy and the training of crew and keeping the bartender kind of taking it to the next level. So everyone was really happy for us, which for us meant the world, because we were really nervous how the reception was going to be, because closing down an institution was a bit harsh.
I'm sure.
I'm
sure you felt that history on your shoulders every time you made a decision.
So much and everything. That's kind of, and when we went in for the practice of how we were going to build the bar and what's going to kind of go into it and everything, we were making sure that the classic was always going to be a massive feature, because a feature, it needed to be. Well, we have the theme of the Swift bar upstairs, which is the aperitivo, the light style, the perching, come in for a quick drink, just being welcomed, and like a little more of a casual daytime drinking atmosphere. And then we have the downstairs, which is the drinking den with the bigger menu and everything, we have 28 drinks in the menu down here, and it's quite expensive, but we wanted it to be focused on making sure the classics are really good, because that is the legacy of what Lab kind of set for bartenders in London, of like, and Milk and Honey as well, but like, how do you make classics? And like, if you don't make a good classic, then why are you making, if you can't make a good margarita, like, why are you making this infusion with this thing on your own menu? Like, if you can't just make me a solid margarita.
It's like, I think they say that every chef knows how to make a fantastic omelet.
Yeah.
It's like, if you can't make that omelet, don't go on to make anything else.
Exactly. That's the whole point. Like, learn your basics, and then you can build on them. So we were designing, I think we were even talking downstairs what we were going to name them, and we sat at home, everything. We sat at Anna Rosie's house, and we drank so much red wine. Bobby ended up falling on the ice outside and nearly breaking his foot.
Now, were you always I guess you were always on the same page
we were kind of trying to figure each other out, because both of us had ideas, and we were always we were always reading the same book, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
And then we were trying to figure out where everyone's idea would fit in with each other, and also kind of without ever being, because you kind of have to be quite nice, because we just got into a new working relationship, so nobody wanted to push any buttons, so you're saying I'm sorry a lot, and you're kind of like holding back and everything. But they're such professionals in Rosie, because they had such a fantastic crew that they already have been working with, from the designers of Day Trip, which designed Swift, who also designed Oreo.
And they wanted you there. I mean, it isn't as if, they could have opened, said, never called you and done the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, they wanted your input. They wanted you.
So much. And me and Bobby, we were sick as quick. For us, it was the whole idea behind it. We needed to make sure that the bar was built the way we do bartending, like how me and Bobby have exact height that we like the height of the bar to be, and all of the stations and all the building, and how service was going to be, and where we wanted the tills, and where we wanted the seating, and how we wanted them to be able to move. So I knew, because for us it was like, because we were the ones going to be working here, and we were the one who's going to be training the crew to be here. So for us it was important that we kind of made it the way where we kind of like working, and how we could see it being in the best way possible. Because Anna Rosie, they're not bartenders, they're business owners, and they're developers, and they're hospitality legends, but they don't work behind the bar, they don't work on the floor, which is, well, they have, of course they have at Night and Oreo when it's been pinch nights when they need to, but this is what I've done for 13 years. So for me, I needed to make the best floor that I could make, to make sure that the guys can have the best time here. So we were all sitting, it was quite funny actually, we had like 6 cafes around here, so because we didn't have anything, the whole place was a building site. So we would go downstairs, the one I took you down to Cafe Nero,
right, Cafe Nero,
which has this long table where we sat with the builders, and they had this fantastic building team that they'd worked with before as well. They had the whole thing, they had the whole catalog of people, and I'm so thankful. And they just rolled out this like drawings on this massive table, and we sat with them for a couple hours, and then we had that coffee and 2 coffees there, and then we turned around, we walked outside, and we were having to do all the contracts for all the various things. So we went to the next cafe, had a next meeting there, and then I finished that one at the hour, went to the next cafe, had a coffee there, maybe a tea and cake, and then literally just walked around in circles. So we were like about 8 o'clock at night. We started 9 8 o'clock at night. We were so like caffeinated that we were just shivering every day. But it was a lot of fun, because at this time me and Bobby were just seeing everything. Everything was on like 3D prints and on computers and everything. And then when we walked in every day, the builders were really nice. They showed us, oh, we put this flooring in here, or look, we've done this here. What do you think of this? And the designer, Emily and Ewan, who were with us, Emily was super pregnant then. She was like, I think she was 8 months pregnant. So when we just opened the bar, she popped. So like, she was a hero, but she was walking around like dawdling and everything, just trying to show us where everything was going. We got the keys on the 30th of August, and we opened on the 29th of November.
So that's pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah, September, October, November. So literally within 3 months, we had a menu, we had a concept, we had the whole shebang kind of done. We needed to staff it, we needed to train the staff.
Well, aesthetically, it is such a chic bar.
Yeah.
Did you work all 4 of you together to create this, or you had an idea of exactly what you wanted?
We kind of talked about how we wanted the style to be quite clean and elegant and like very much like streamlined. And then the design team kind of came back with ideas, and like Rosie had a lot of input, and kind of like we really like Bruna Werkstätte, which is a German design, which is it was one of those nights where we kind of had a vision, and then the guys kind of took it and went to print. So the same guy who kind of designed the logo, who was a fantastic man, we kind of went like, we want the bird, but like their birds are very intricate in the way they're doing the side of the logo. We wanted this to be kind of more like a clean lining behind it, because Swift was going to be a new kind of branch in the same tree, and it was going to need it to be, so it showed itself. It was still a bird, but it was a new bird, it was a new group, it was a new kind of sister in a different way. And we were all we wanted to be connected to them, but it wanted to be its own entity. So when we were sitting there going, okay, we like this, we like that, I'm Scandinavian, so I wanted everything to be quite easily breathable and style. So we knew downstairs was going to be a little bit darker, we wanted upstairs to be a lot lighter, we wanted to get out fresh air, but like Day Trip is so good at what they do. So when we were kind of explaining this, they just went to work, and they came back with all these like kind of color schemes and everything, because I think we picked between the blues like 4 or 5 times. We were really struggling to see that it was gonna, because when they came back said that we're gonna paint the baby blue ceiling. I don't know if you've seen upstairs, but the whole top of it, the whole ceiling of it is baby blue. And we were standing on like, we're gonna have a baby blue ceiling, we're gonna have a sky blue ceiling. And we were like, oh crap, okay, yeah, we're gonna have to just trust them in this. And then when they were painting the blue on the wall, and we were seeing, going like, okay, it's gonna be completely blue, it's gonna be totally blue. And then it's like we dug in, and then as soon as the lights went on and everything, we were like, oh, it's beautiful, it's perfect. But you kind of had to trust them. So Day Trip was probably the ones who did the most designing, but it was showing us options of everything, kind of do like this, do like that, we like this, or we don't like that, or we do like this. But I remember when I bought the signs for the toilets myself, and I bought them on the market, they're like little vintagey ladies and gents things, and then she didn't like them, and then me and Rosie both went like, but we like them. And then we just stood there going like, almost like we'd done something, we've done something. We contributed one bit.
And did they say okay, you can have them?
No, of course we can have it, because it's our part. But they bless them, doing such much work. They also were on a different project, but they I think they went to school with Rosie or something like that. So they were friends, so they were doing us a huge favor. They were fantastic people. But we were training the guys at the same time, so we'd done most of the hires, but we also really don't like poaching staff. We kind of like people. We're very lucky with, but it's the guys that we have hired here kind of have made themselves known that they wanted to come and work here. So we haven't I don't really like the whole, when you go in and you see somebody over the bar and you offer them a job over the bar. For me, it's really rude, because of the person who owns the bar and runs the bar, or the whole team behind it. Even insulting to the bartender themselves, going like this, I'm at work right now, how are they supposed to take that? So we were then trying to put together a bar team, and we got the best people in the world, and they were such nice people to start off with as well. Most of them are still here, thank God. I think we've got 75%, 80% retaining the staff, which has been fantastic. But we were doing trainings with them in the daytime, from like beer training to wine trainings and everything. And then we, because some of them knew each other, some of them didn't. We said when we opened, we didn't want it to be a clash where there were cliques that kind of knew each other and the ones that didn't. So we decided, okay, how are we going to make them kind of one team, one dream?
Apart from hugging them all the time.
Apart from hugging them all the time. Well, I had at that point, I only knew, so I had to like kind of hold them on the shoulder and like, you have to ease into the hugging. Now they come to me 2 years later, they come for hugs now, so yeah. But we decided we're going to do them on a bar crawl. We're going to take them around Soho so they kind of get to know the area and everything, and then they were going to have a story the next day going like, oh, you were drunk there, or you did that, or that was really silly, or do you remember that was really tasty when we ate that, or whatever. They were going to have a new connection because they had kind of relaxed together. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yes, of course.
So I think we went out, and me and Bobby were so tired. We went quite a few places. We went to Frenchie's, we went to OBM, we went to El Camion, we went to Toucan, we went to Milroy's, I think. And I think we went to Boston, which is 68 in Boston, the bar upstairs. Yeah. So I think at the 5th bar.
In one night.
In one night, yeah. But me and Bobby, well, it was our treat, so we kind of like went out, and then I think it's the second to last bar or something. I think me and Bobby just kind of decided that we were quite drunk and we kind of need to go home because we were so overworked at that time as well. I think just one glass of wine was just got me drunk, so I can imagine at that stage it was probably a bit. But they all came back the next day, or the next time we saw them, and they had the funniest story. Somebody had lost their wallet, somebody had fallen asleep in the Uber, somebody had like kissed something, or like
I love that you said kiss something.
Oh yeah, I don't remember. It was somebody. I don't think that person ended up working with us, but I think she tried to kiss 3 of the guys.
Oh no,
no, 3 of the 1 girl and 2 guys. I think was
that they were going to work with.
They were going to work. She was going to, yeah. No,
You're like, okay, that's taking it to an extreme. I want you to all get along, but you don't have to make out the first
and
day.
That was not the reason why she didn't end up working with us. It was because the trainings were quite hard, and she didn't, because especially when we opened, everyone had to really be up at a certain standard straight away. So it was quite a lot of tests and trainings. So it wasn't for her. It was a bit too much for her. But yeah, it was so many stories that we came back to that we were like, this worked. It was perfect. They all had a new connection as a team instead of just opening the door. But I think we got the keys. The venue was kind of done 2 days before we had the Friends and Family night. Not even Friends and Family, Industry night. It was Industry night, and we had 150 people RSVP. The venue only fits 110. So we had 150 people RSVP'd, and we were like, oh, okay. So as Bobby was unlocking the front door for the front night, the builders were actually walking out the back door. We'd only got in a day and a half beforehand, so the bar was empty. So in a day and a half, we had to fill up glassware, all of the bottles, every single thing from juicers, everything needed to just be filled, unpacked, plates, everything needed to come out, be washed, polished, go up on the shelf. So that was an intense 24 hours of getting the guys in here. We just worked day and night until we opened, and then the industry party went off crazy well. The guys nailed it. They had so much fun. They nailed it. And then we were open. So we were...
And I remember you saying that you were here every single day
for
the first year. Right? Or more? Was it more?
At least for for the first year, not really...
For the first year and a half, you said, I think.
For the first 6 months, we were here 6-7 days a week.
Yeah.
Morning, noon, and night. And then as the guys... It was basically at that time... We were also, it's everything when you open up a bar. It's everything. It's kind of like you have a new supplier that delivers oysters only between 6 and 7 in the morning, and they need to get keys. They need to be like get the beeper for like the alarm. They need to sign contracts with you and the delivery. So you have to meet them all every morning at like 6 7. The builders were still coming in to do snagging, as it's called, kind of like fixing corners or like pulling electricity, and like nothing ever works for the first time. So the music was always gonna be having a weird scenario at that time. We were setting up an internet account, so we had BT people in the mornings and nights, and like then we worked nights. So we had to work the nights, make sure everything was training. Bobby was quite overworked at that time, so he gets quite quiet. He goes into a little cocoon. So I had to be the really loud one, because I had to greet and try to explain the concept and the briefing to all the guests that we had in. The team was doing amazing, but everyone always has questions in the beginning, because
it's something new.
Yeah, and I'm also one of those busy bees. I want to keep my eyes on every single thing that was going through, every single drink that was coming off the bar, all of it. We were trying to kind of figure out, because at that time, only me and Bobby in our heads knew what Swift was in a glass or a service or anything. That only we knew it, but we had to explain it. Now it's so easy, because they all breathe Swift. So when somebody else starts, now it's so simple, because they all know exactly how to do it, so they will show. But at the beginning, I was the only one, Bobby as well, the only one to shoot. So for us, when we had Nathan with us, it was really important. He was such a hero. He's now gone on to greener pastures within the whiskey world, but he was such a massive part. He was a head bartender, but he was more than that to us. He was like, he knew the drinks, because he'd worked with me and Bobby for 3 years prior. He knew kind of our ideas of doing method. He's a fantastic bartender, and he nailed it. And we can kind of breathe on, like, lean on him a little bit, because we were so overworked, but you couldn't show that in the evenings. You had to really just smack the face on, because it was so fun, and it was so rewarding, and Swift really took off with a massive bang as well. So you kind of lived in this adrenaline rush of the whole shebang. So Nathan was always here, always grounded. He was beyond fantastic. So when he left us, he'd been working with us technically for nearly 4 years. So he was a massive part of it, and we owe him a huge thank you. He was actually here last night for the birthday party. He was the guy in the zebra suit. Of course.
Yes, I saw him.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I love him so much. But everyone who kind of stayed with us, we've all the few people that have left have all stayed really friendly. They all come in all the time. They're still part of like the atmosphere of the family atmosphere that we kind of created. I think it's because me and Bobby don't really know how to do anything else than to create a family entity, because we wanted everyone to kind of feel connected and responsible for the site and for themselves. And by doing that, I think it was very perfect that when we worked so much, especially in the first year when we were here every day, morning, noon and night, they saw that if we're putting this effort in, they kind of also wanted to put the effort in. So it was, for us, it was the most, it feels like it's 6 years ago, that first year, but it's only last year. We just turned 2 yesterday. I don't even know, but it feels like it's been, easy 6 years.
I think anyone listening will get the sense that you create a family, no matter where you are or who you meet, really.
Yeah, it's for me, it's kind of, I got shown that in Milk and Honey, the crew I was with. That's where me and Bobby met, and clearly I ended up kind of feeling so much fun when we got married. But it was like we were only 8 of us, and we had to run this whole ship by ourselves, and we became such close friends that I kind of wanted to take that emotion to these guys as well, and where we kind of feel like we're one against the world, and we kind of stick together. And it's one of those scenarios where I don't think that we're trying to revolutionize how anyone runs bars, but it's kind of shocking as well, because the things that we kind of take for granted, people saving for their pension, getting paid their holiday days, working reasonable hours, making sure that they have days off in a row and stuff like that, which you kind of just assume, like having proper staff food, anything like that, having a break every day, things like that. So there's so many bars that are missing those little vital details, but just by having those things, which is a human right.
Yeah, I thought you were actually going to say, because we don't have those.
That's what we have to.
We make it up in other ways, but you're saying you have that.
We have that, but it's like I don't know if it's me being Swedish, where everyone has so many. I think you have like 4 coffee breaks before lunch. Yeah. It's one of those scenarios where like you have to have it, and I think the guys here, they just like, they feel respected as a person and as a career move, and we all kind of work on them individually as well, because they all have different dreams. A couple of them wants to own their own bars, so me and Bobby are quite open with how we do things and how to run a concept and how to build a brand and all of those things. To some of them wants to work in like the media point of it, and like, so he's working with me in the social media part, but still bartending, still enjoying that, but like kind of taking into who wants to work. Like one of them was really focused on whiskey, so he's probably writing the whiskey list and making the orders and research and taking out facts. But because even though they all have kind of technically the same title, they all have different dreams. So we're trying to give them something extra towards their dreams, so that they feel like they're being fulfilled, and they're not just like treading water.
I want to work for you.
But they're all individuals, and that's why it's so important
wonderful
to remember. Because like some of them, especially as well, when like some of them have fallen ill or there's been family emergencies and stuff, then we don't demand. And I've worked in places where you just forget that that's gonna happen. And I think just because they can get that, if they need a few extra days off for a couple of months or whatever they need, then they'll get paid back by, maybe give them whatever they do. They need some more hours after when they come back, or wherever they fit, like pick the puzzle pieces, then they give back everything.
Of course. They always say that people would rather be valued at work than get paid more.
Yeah, so much.
And I think the value of what you give to something is, of course people want to get paid, but can be worth so much. And you want to work for people who appreciate what you're doing for them.
But there's so much things people go like, oh Mia, how do you open up a bar? How do you do this? And I've done talks on it, but there are things that you can and you cannot really say. But there are small tokens that you can do. It's kind of like, you're always going to get given alcohol, for example, like a gift or a present or whatever it is. It could be somebody comes in with like a box of chocolates or whatever. If I would take everything home that says my name on it, then I look like the greedy person. Every single thing that gets given to the guys, and they share it. And every single thing, I think the first gift that we got was a Middleton Rare, and it's an expensive bottle of whiskey. And me and Bobby went like, great, this is staff drinks. And they all went like, what? Staff drinks? And I'm like, they're like, you're giving us a 200-pound bottle of whiskey as staff drinks. I'm like, yeah, this is yours. I'm like, because if I could have easily taken that home and enjoyed, but who would I be sitting at home drinking their whiskey to myself instead of watching them all having a really nice dram after hours? It's so much more enjoyable, so much.
And they've helped you create this.
Yeah, but it's also really good for the brands themselves. Yeah, because then they fall in love with the
yes,
drinks.
of course.
And then the brand ambassadors see that, and then they know kind of how to they feel that the love is being shared across.
Which it is.
Yes, I hope so. I feel so. I try it. They look happy.
Will you share some of your love by making a cocktail for me?
Yeah, sure. Do you want one now?
Sure.
Amazing. Can we have...
What would you make if it was when it's the first one?
The Scorpino.
Always
the Scorpino.
Well, we're going to leave to have a Scorpino now.
It's one of those days when as soon as you need to start your day off, you start off with the Scorpino. Everything is going to be good. And you love Venice as well. So
I love Venice and I love your Scorpino.
Yes.
All right.
It was such a delight to have Mia on the show, twice. I was at Swift last night and told Yvonne, one of the bartenders, that it's become my local, even though I'm a tube ride away, especially since I know there's a Scropino always waiting for me. It was once already my cocktail of the week when I interviewed Sarah Stoda, the artist, but I decided to have the Scropino on again. It's just too good not to. Scropino. Or should I use the plural Scropini? Because you just can't have one. I've been drinking these for years, but I would have to wait for our family trip to Venice to get one. Mia and her husband Bobby have zhuzhed the original recipe by replacing the vodka with Italicus Rosolio de Bergamotto. Thank goodness it was invented, because it adds that je ne sais quoi that Luca Mazzaglia, the brand ambassador, told us all about on the show a few weeks ago. Just 4 simple ingredients. 10 mLs of Italicus, 1 scoop of lemon sorbet, Prosecco, and lemon zest. Combine the Prosecco with the 10 mLs of Italicus in a coupe glass. Then add a scoop of lemon sorbet and garnish with lemon zest. Close your eyes and you are transported directly to St. Mark's Square. As you know, you'll find this recipe and all the cocktails of the week on lushLifeManual.com, where you'll also find all the ingredients in our shop. If you head to my sister site, bestbitsworldwide.com, you'll also find out tons to do in Venice. Next week, we're strapping on our skis and heading out to Savoy Mont Blanc Ski Resort Morzine to meet a few of the folks instrumental in providing a bit more than just vin chaud to their thirsty guests. Until next time, bottoms up. Thanks for listening to the Lush Life Podcast. For more information and links to everything you've heard, plus a whole lot more, please visit lushLifeManual.com. Always remember the wise words of Oscar Wilde. All things in moderation, including moderation. And always drink responsibly. Okay, I said that last part. Theme music is by Steven Shapiro and used with permission. Lush Life is produced by Evo Terra. And I'm your drinking partner, Susan Schwartz. I'll see you at the bar.